Welcome to Focus Garage. Today we're going to talk about this little app called Turo. Mike has been using this app for a while, and he's more knowledgeable than I am, and he has all the...
As usual.
He has all the inside of this app, and he's going to talk about it. We're going to ask him what the app is, how do you use it, and who do you deal with, and what can you do with it, and also some other hidden fees if there are any. So let's start with what is Turo? Can you explain what Turo is to us?
Yeah, absolutely. Since I recently just did a trip, I've been talking to people about it, and the easiest way that I always explain it is that it's basically Airbnb but for cars. So rather than your standard way of renting a car when you go to Avis or Hertz and you have to go to the rental counter and deal with all that, Turo is an application where people put their cars directly up for rent, and when you put in the dates that you're looking to rent a vehicle, you deal directly with the owner of that car. So it's people putting their personal cars up for rent rather than a company-owned vehicle that you're dealing with a business entity and everything like that.
Okay, so you deal with people instead of big businesses. How does the insurance work on that? I know, like with the big companies, your credit card covers some of the insurance if you have Visa or MasterCard, or you can purchase extra. How does the insurance work on this?
So, as far as my knowledge is, from what I've used and seen in this application, all of the insurance using Turo is included through the app. For now, they strictly use Liberty Mutual insurance, but there's two basically levels of coverage, so to speak. So they kind of throw it at you as a hidden cost. It's not bundled into the price of your rental, so as you're going through checkout, it's going to basically tell you what insurance coverage do you want. There's like a standard one from Liberty Mutual, and it's like $10 per day of the rental. And that covers, pretty much all of your basic stuff, pretty minimum coverage dollar amounts, but it has you covered. And then for an additional amount, and I think this varies per vehicle, they have where you can purchase higher coverage limits. So if you cause, a lot of damage with the car or something like that, you're not really going to be stuck paying anything out of pocket. Whereas, if you get in a bad crash on the first one, you might be out a little bit of your own money.
Okay, that's interesting because that doesn't show up in the app when you're just looking at it, and not many people talk about it.
I actually got in a heated argument with someone that works in insurance. Like, there's no way that's legal that the coverage is in the app. You have to use your own coverage. I'm like, I don't know. There's millions of people using this app, and it seems to be all right.
So far, we haven't heard anything. What are the other hidden costs, since we're talking about the insurance being a hidden cost? Is there any other hidden costs? Let's say you see $20 a day for a car. What are and then $10 for the insurance. What are the other add-ons to that?
There's a beautiful fee that is so vaguely unexplained on there. It's called the Turo fee.
Okay.
And this varies based on car. Anything that, when I was looking on the application, from $4 a day per rental to I saw up to I think it was like $25 a day on the rental.
Oh, wow.
It really doesn't explain what that is or anything like that. It might be a percentage of the value of the rental. So if the rental's $30 a day, the Turo fee might be like 10% of that. Or if it's a $200 a day rental, it might be another fee based off of that. But yeah, they throw the insurance cost at you and the Turo fee on top of it. So if you see a car and it's like 40, 50 bucks a day, you could probably expect to pay probably 10 bucks to 20 bucks more a day on top of that. So it's not truly what you see, it's what you pay.
Okay, I see. That's kind of opened your eyes wide open, because usually when I'm looking at it, I usually compare the prices of the rental versus the Turo, but I usually go with the rental company. I never use Turo myself, but their prices were pretty competitive with regular insurance. But
that's what made me finally try it. Yeah, versus regular rental car companies is like, for what you spend on a regular rental, you could have a kind of unique, kind of cool car on Turo. So I wanted to try it to see kind of what it was all about.
Speaking of the unique cars, what are the cars that you can rent on Turo? What are the options that you can get?
So this is what's really unique about this app compared to a regular rental. Turo actually opened their category of what you can have on there even more. So you can have older cars. I've seen 70s and 80s muscle cars on here now. But basically there's everything from a standard 2010 Corolla to Dodge Vipers and Audi R8s. And everything in the middle. If you want to rent a pickup truck, you can rent that. I've seen people rent more exotic cars, Vipers, R8s, AMGs, things like that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you get a huge mixture, and obviously the prices will reflect that. But it's perfect too for somebody that just needs a car. If your car's in the shop, you can go on there and rent, yourself a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord or something like that. And those are very, very affordable. If you're looking to take a trip and splurge a little bit, you can really enjoy and have a nice car.
That sounds awesome. I mean, that's the one thing that makes Turo much more desirable than regular. I mean, I know Hertz has Mustangs and Camaros you can rent, and some other in Europe.
They're usually more basic though, cloth, V6 and things like that.
Yeah, Turo is like all open. I have seen a WRX SC. I'm surprised it's still running. But
They even have they even have modded cars on there too.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like stage whatever, you know, cars and you know cars with superchargers on them and things like that. Like aftermarket parts. I'm like, that's a whole other story. We're not going to go too far into that. But I can't imagine renting a car out like that and not expecting to have the customer beat on it. You know, like
yeah, that's true. Like how would you go? Like when something.
why
goes
else are you going to rent a 600 horsepower car?
I mean, once the car is modded, it's out of the factory warranty as well.
Reliability's
compromised, and then you as a customer
don't know how to drive it.
Yeah, end up with a car, and maybe you blow up the engine. How would that play around like that?
I think that's going to be a lot on a case-by-case basis that the renter has with the person renting the car, and yeah, that's where it gets awkward.
I know insurance won't cover that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where it gets awkward. You kind of have that gray line. Like, I don't know if you want to transition into kind of how my experience was, because they do have kind of like fail-safes in place, like if there's physical damage on the car, but yeah, mechanical damage, I really don't know how that would all come into play.
We can switch to how was your experience with it. We can talk about your experience.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So I recently just did a little trip down south, and I wanted to use Turo. So I went on there, and another unique thing about Turo, in America here, it's almost impossible to find a manual transmission rental car. On Turo, not a problem. It's actually a filter. You can go on and click show manual transmission vehicles only. So I was looking what was available in my area for manual trans, and I basically settled on a brand new 2017 Mazda Miata RF. So that's the fastback kind of target top looking thing, and it was manual transmission with a Club Sport package. Awesome car.
It's
RF, man.
What?
It's a retractable fastback.
Ah,
Blew your mind. You would think it's that far, but it's not.
fuck me.
So yeah, it's RF for those of you that don't know, because retractable fastback. But yeah, I settled on that, and I might even do a whole other video about that car because it was freaking awesome. I want to buy one like right now. But basically the way it works is, like I said, it's all set up with the way the person that's renting out the car wants to handle the situation. So you may have some people that you have to get to their house and meet them to take delivery of the car, whereas you have other people that will actually deliver the car to you. So you basically, like I said in the beginning, select your dates, pick a car, and you submit basically that, hey, I want to rent this car. The person that's then renting out the car gets a notification, and they have to approve your rental request. It's not automatic through the app. This person basically can pre-screen you. So in the app, and they actually strongly encourage this, you can set up a profile where you basically have, where you live, some info about you, and your previous experience with cars. Like, are you a car guy? Are you not? Car guy or girl.
Have you driven a manual? Because
Exactly.
if you haven't, then that guy's not going to let you, or that girl's not going to let you drive.
Exactly. Yeah, and you'll see a lot of cars too when you're looking on there, more of that higher end stuff that experienced manual transmission drivers only. And there's actually a checkbox hidden deep inside the app that you have to go in to turn that on.
Okay.
So like, it's not like anyone could just pick up and try to learn manual on a car. I've actually heard stories of where the renter will actually make the person drive you around the block just to make sure that you're competent with driving stick, so you're not just renting their car to learn how to drive stick, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's a fantastic idea because you don't want to blow up your clutch or anything like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like I was saying, basically you submit your request for rental, and then they approve it, based on what they see on your profile. And the guy that I rented from did it pretty much instantly, so everything was good to go from there. Communication-wise, it's very well set up to directly message them in the app. Some renters will give you their phone number if it's easier for them to just text you back and forth. So basically, decide on how everything's going to work. In the case of mine, the car was actually waiting for me in an airport garage. The guy left the keys on top of the driver's side wheel. So a little bit sketchy, but again, if nobody sees you do it, they're never going to know that it's there. So when he left the car there, the app requires him to take pictures all the way around the car. So every single panel, and then the interior, and then show how many miles are on the car, and then how much gas is in the car. When I get to the car, before I can actually start the trip in the app, I've got to take the same pictures to prove that obviously from the time he left the car to when I picked it up that nothing happened, and that he's not trying to pull a fast one on me and say that I damaged something. So take my pictures, take note of the gas and the miles, and then you can pretty much begin your trip in the app.
Awesome.
With that, you do have to know, and they can actually set this in the app, they show it up to you, basically the way they want their car returned. You have to take note of how many miles you're allowed to drive over the trip, and then you're also allowed, or not allowed, but you also have to know how they want the car returned. So whether or not they want the car cleaned and washed, interior, exterior, and then gas. Do you have to refill it? Do you not have to refill it? So take note of that as you're on your trip. So Trip was flawless. I took the car, drove it, put like 450 miles on it.
Did you have a limit on the?
I could do 600 miles for the whole trip, and I rented the car for 4 days, so I feel like that's a lot of miles.
Yeah, 600
especially a car that's a little more like newer on the
You can't take it around like a long trip, but it's like around town. It's like perfect.
And you'll see that vary a lot too. Like a lot of the more regular cars, they have unlimited miles on there, and then like a lot of the more exotic stuff, somebody doesn't want you putting 1,000 miles on their exotic car.
Yeah, like Ferrari with 1,000 miles.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to even drive that for 1,000 miles, anyways. So take note of the miles that you're allowed. Do your trip, and then the guy I rented from actually wanted it returned the same way that I picked it up. So same thing, pull it back in the parking garage. He told me what garage he wanted it in, what level of the garage, and then I left the car with the key on the wheel. Took my pictures of the car all the way around and the gas gauge and everything like that, and that was it. The car. This one was really, really easy because there was no damage on the car before I picked it up, and there was no damage on the car after I picked it up. So, after I dropped it off. So, other than the wrecked front. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, it was a flawless trip. Then I texted the dude saying, "Hey, car's here. Go pick it up. Thanks, man. I enjoyed the car a lot." He messaged me back a few hours saying he got it. Everything looks great. He reviewed me. I reviewed him. Flawless. I never even met this guy. I rented a car from some guy, put 400 miles on it. Never even saw the guy's face, and I was there when I was on my trip. I visited my family, and they had actually rented a car, and they said their rental experience was a complete disaster. They were in line for like 45 minutes. They didn't have the car they reserved. They're trying to hit them with all these hidden fees, and I'm like, well, I just picked up my keys from the car in the garage, and I drove away. It was really cool from that, convenience.
It seems
aspect.
like it's a more better experience than rental car. It's like taxi versus Uber, like hotels versus Airbnb.
Yeah.
They're more alternative. They try to make it better experience, and I hope they keep this up. I hope they don't drop the ball on it and becomes like people taking advantage of the system. I hope it doesn't happen, and then this stays like that, and maybe hidden fees should be maybe not hidden.
Make them a little more clear. Make the insurance a little more clear, because before I rented, I tried to find out how does the insurance work.
Yeah, that was the one question I had. I didn't know until today that you did such a thing.
And up until you're booking it, they don't really make it clear how it all works. They explain it pretty well when you're booking it. And I'm no insurance expert, so I'm not going to say how it all works. But
is there an option that you pick no insurance?
No. Every car on the app, you have to use the Liberty Mutual provided insurance. Yeah, you can't say, I have my own car insurance, I want to cover it this way. It doesn't work like that. Because I think legally this isn't the same as a rental car, so even if you have rental insurance, I don't think it covers this because it's different. This car is privately owned, so it might...
It's not a business.
Yeah.
I see. Because my next question, I wonder if your credit card, because my Visa card will cover the damage, cover the insurance basically. If I rent a car, I don't have to get a rental insurance.
Exactly.
But I was wondering, I guess since it's a privately owned,
and something unique too, not unique, but just interesting, is they actually charge you for the full amount as soon as you rent the car on the app.
Okay.
So even if you're renting 2 months from now, if you book the rental today, they'll charge you in full for it.
Okay.
Not a big deal, and then obviously if they cancel, you get your money back. But just note that if you're not expecting to get charged until a trip or something like that,
it happens.
Be aware of that. This is a really, really great alternative to renting a car, and I really, really enjoyed it. My biggest fear with something like this is I think people adapting it, because people are very resistant to change, and they're like, well, I can't, have a representative to talk to, and blah, 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 I don't want to do it. Or
this app has been out for a long time.
And it's finally gaining a lot of traction, I think.
It's like when it first started, there weren't that many cars out there. There were little cars, and there were more unique cars in there too, to be honest, than now, because now it's just
everything
flooded with Toyota Corolla.
Anybody that's got a car sitting tries to put their car on Turo so they can earn money with it. If you're a family and you got 2 or 3 cars and they're not using all of them, it's a good way to have the car kind of pay for itself, so to speak. I've even spoken to somebody that puts their car on Turo, and they buy cars specifically with the intention of having the Turo payments pay for the car payment. Wow. So if you've always wanted a Alfa Romeo, go ahead and buy one and hope that you rent it out at least enough on Turo to pay for the car payment so it's free to you.
I don't know how long it's going to stay in the dealer versus how long it's going to be.
You're going to rent it if it's always broken? I don't know.
Yeah. But Alfa Romeo is a beautiful car.
The only scary thing about this app to me is, like you said, the unknown. What if I get in a car accident? What if there's mechanical damage?
Yeah.
And it's not my fault, what if I'm driving and the clutch suddenly decides to stop working?
Yeah, how do you claim an insurance, like how do you do an insurance claim? Basically, that's what I was trying to say.
No idea. I didn't have to, thank God.
Do
like,
you say like, oh, this is my car, or this is?
What if you get pulled over even?
Yeah, did you find the registration?
He left the registration in the car.
What about the insurance?
Exactly. Like his insurance card is obviously not the Liberty Mutual that the app is using, so I don't even know how that all works. You know.
Did they email you? Liberty Mutual emailed you like anything?
No, I'm sure it was probably in a folder on the app somewhere, but I didn't even look for it because I never needed it. But yeah, you know, like there's a lot of gray lines with this, but. You know, as long as you have a smooth transaction, I'm sure it's good. But I think a lot of like if you have problems, it's going to be up to the person you're renting it from. You know, and it creates a lot of those awkward situations where it's like,
and also,
what do I do?
The one thing that I'm going to agree with people having a physical person there and to deal with versus you didn't even see the person and you don't even know who to talk to at Turo either about this.
No offense to Turo, if you guys do watch this, I have heard that their customer service hotline is not the best. I heard it's very hard to get a hold of somebody, and when you do, they're not very helpful. So
yeah,
that's scary.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
When there's thousands of dollars on the line, if it's insurance or damage or something like that, you kind of want to have someone to go to. And
these are cons. This is a con side of renting a car from Turo, but the pro side is like. You get really nice cars
at an affordable price. And selection is huge. Like this, I mean, obviously, if you guys haven't, download the app and look what's available in your area.
Or you don't even have to download the app.
Go to the website.
Website too.
Yeah, but both anywhere that I've looked, Chicagoland area, Florida area, California area. Obviously, these are huge markets, but the variety of stuff you can rent is freaking insane. Like. This is also a great alternative too if you're interested in buying a certain kind of car.
Exactly.
If you want to go buy, I don't know why we keep talking about these, like a WRX or an STI or something. Go on Turo and rent them for a couple days and see if this is something you could see yourself living with.
Yeah, I mean this is if you don't want to deal with dealers or anything like that.
It's an extended test drive.
Yeah, this is a great. I mean, spend like $30, $40 versus $30,000, or like dealing with a dealer. Like, oh, we need to run your credit score to let you drive a WRX STI.
And then you can't even really drive it how you want to when you're on the test drive.
So I mean, this is a great opportunity to take you to a test drive, extended test drive where like you're gonna do like a daily driving where you're gonna go to work, or like how's it gonna behave in the traffic?
What is it like on the roads you live by? Is it bumpy? Is it not? Like this app was great because it's terrible and it made me want to buy a 2017 Miata because I knew I was going to like the car, but I didn't know I was going to like the car this much. And now that I spent 4 days with it, I'm like, oh no, I didn't want to give it back. I just wanted to drive it home.
I mean, if you guys seen our 2018 Chicago Auto Show video, if you haven't, you should go check it out. It's awesome.
Maybe.
But my experience from that was we sat on beautiful cars, like from like $1 million.
Set on or set in?
Set in. On it too. Like I was like, oh. But I mean, we've seen so many beautiful cars there, like from Porsche 911 GT2 RS to like I don't know, like Hyundai Veloster.
Everything.
Like, variety was open there, and the only car that I got out there that wanted to buy was a Miata. Like I sit in that RF.
You wanted it,
and I wanted it. I'm like, I need to get this car, and I'm kind of jealous that you have done this, and I've been actually looking around to see if I can find it in Turo to rent it myself and experience it. But that car is beautiful.
No, it's an awesome car, man. Awesome car. But I think for the sake of time, let's kind of wrap this up here. What we've got. So Turo, overall thoughts. It's a great alternative, to a rental car company. You've got selection. You've got pretty competitive pricing and convenience. You're not stuck going to a counter. You're not stuck, playing the rules of the rental car company.
And negatives will be customer service, kind of like the unknown and hidden fees.
And another unknown thing as well, and this I think will vary hugely with the app, is the person you're renting it from. How willing are they to work with you? Like the guy I rented from, like I said, he had no problem dropping the car off. He trusted that I drove manual. He never needed to meet with me. I feel like you get these people that are control freaks, and oh, you have to meet me here at this exact minute, and if you're not there, I'm leaving. Like, you don't know. Like you said, the unknown.
Yeah, the unknown. So it's a toss-up. But if you, at least you can try it for one day and have a cool car. I think it's a great application, and I hope that it gets better with their customer service and with their hidden fees. Maybe they're more out there.
Upfront with it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this one, I think. As
Yeah.
far as Turo, I would definitely do it. Would you do it?
Yeah, I will definitely do it. I'm actually looking to again.
I've done it before. I'll do it again.
I'll do it again.
Absolutely.
So comment below. Would you do it? Would you try to rent one from, or would you put your car in there? Like, would you let other people drive your car?
Have you done it?
Yeah, or have you done it? And what was your experience? Like, I mean, Mike had a great experience. Did you have a great experience, or you had a comment below? Let us know, and make sure to like this video and share. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and push the bell button to get all the notifications for all of our silly videos.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Kudos to all.